Amphoreus is an absolute and unmitigated disaster of a region. Despite the reputation that Honkai Star Rail has built up of having a good story and gameplay, it really can't be argued that this is no longer the case. I went through the agony of playing through all of Amphoreus, only to be agonized further by people saying the story and content it offers is actually good. I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you really enjoyed the narrative of Amphoreus and genuinely think it is good content, you probably have the mental aptitude of a 4th grader and are just constantly hooked up to an IV drip of copium to try and justify the hundreds to thousands of dollars you've wasted on this game. The self-glazing is so astronomical, it feels like watching Pirate Software talk about the coding optimization on his own game. Honkai Star Rail peaked at Penacony, and to dispute that claim is completely nonsensical. But since the official Dawe fan club actually is nonsensical, I'm going to list out every reason as to why Amphoreus sucks, and I am 100% convinced that by the end of this video, you too will see the light and understand just how terrible this region actually is. First off, the story is a complete dumpster fire. Trying to follow along with the Amphoreus storyline is nearly impossible with how poorly the narrative is written and conveyed to the player. The main plot points of the story are about as easy to follow as it is to wrestle a gorilla and win. It's technically possible, but more than likely you're just going to get hurt. So many times when playing through Amphoreus, I would be going through dialogue, and at the end of it, I'm just completely lost as to where I am. Like, how did I even get here? It is insane to me that a story can get this amount of praise, while also telling it in such a bad manner that the player is completely lost as to what is even happening around them. Secondly, the content is way too difficult and has power crept everyone. The enemies deal way too much damage, have overcomplicated kits, and unless you have the latest and greatest units from Amphoreus, there is no easy way to progress through the game. Enemies deal so much damage that I had to switch my Acheron to an HP and damage reduction set even to stay alive during combat, and even on top of that, the HP and defense inflation has gotten so bad that I barely even deal any damage to them. The content for a region should be able to be cleared by units from previous patches, and I think it is outrageous that you can't even explore the overworld without having the most recent on-banner character. Thirdly, the characters are uninteresting and have lackluster kits. Congratulations to Amphoreus for being the first region to make a playable character actually non-playable. The characters that Hoyoverse chose to be playable makes absolutely no sense, especially given the fact that there were much more interesting characters revealed in the story. The only thing I thought about when playing the Tribi quest was how much I would rather have her mother than Tribi. Her design looks so much more interesting, and I wouldn't have to also endure the burden of actually listening to Tribi talk. The combat for these new characters is even worse. They entirely lack creativity, originality, and any kind of quality animation. Hoyoverse has become so lazy with character design that they've now started just blatantly plagiarizing from other sources. Take for example this new unit they just released that they are calling Archer. If you do your research, you'll find that this character is actually just a straight copy from a small indie show known as Fate. What's even worse is they even went as far as to copy 2 characters from that show, and ripped off another one known as Saber. The character's ultimate ability is almost a near frame-by-frame copy of the one from the anime, and I think it's disgusting that a company like Hoyoverse can get away with this without any kind of legal repercussion. Amphoreus is one of the worst stories ever told in the gacha space. I've played thousands of games, read hundreds of manga, and watched hundreds of anime, so you can take everything I've said as completely reliable and an expert opinion. If you disagree with any of my claims, then maybe you need to broaden your horizons and play a game with actually good story, like the 1.0 version of Wuthering Waves.